what you've all been coming for. Thank you all guests and thank you all members for coming. I am grateful for this attendance. My name is Waverly. For those that didn't know, I am the chair of the Virginia Beach Chapter Tea Party. And I want to welcome and thank our guest, Councilman, obviously, Stacy Cummings. I am grateful for you to be here. He is representing 731. And Miss Benita Richardson. She is from the 10-1 coalition or PAC. I think they're both PACs, but at any rate, I want to give a warm welcoming applaud for both of them. Thank you. This is not easy being in the lion's den, and they're both agreeing to do it. Let me go over some of the rules of how this will go. Everyone may ask a question. We are practicing our normal standards here at the Tea Party that our former chair, Diana Howard, set, and that is 3 minutes opening statements, 3 minutes closing statements. There is a minute response to every question. If either party calls out the other, then that person is allowed to respond for 30 seconds. Okay? Chris Brown's going to be our timer. Teresa Chadwick and Carol Kinsey are collecting the note cards. I've told them that if there are questions, because a lot of people may ask the same question, if they find questions that are the same, they may be slightly worded different, but if they're the same questions, I've asked them to pile them together and just ask that question once, so that we can continuously ask fresh new questions and not ask the same question over and over again. I think that's respectful for the people watching online, but certainly for all of your time here. Okay, I have made it clear to everybody what we are dealing with is what's on the ballot. You don't have to vote at all if you don't want to. That's your right. But the question on the ballot is what the referendum is about. If it's not regarding that, then it's not a part of our forum. Any question may be asked if you put it on a 3x5 card. That is our standard practice. That's what we've always done. I did offer RK, thank you for coming. If he wanted to ask the first question, he was welcome to do that. If he's done it and give it to Teresa, we will ask his question first. That said, it's a heated discussion on both sides. I have personally been attacked. I'm sure some of you have been as well. My Christianity has even been called to question, and I find that very offensive. Troubling. So, it is, thank you. So, I want to say, when the day is done, we all got to live here. Okay, remember that. We're going to run into each other at Food Lion. Let's remember that. So with that said, I will turn this over to our guest. Councilman, I will let you go first if you want to have your 3 minutes. Sure. Fire at will. We are done.
Well, thank you very much for having me here tonight. I look forward to the opportunity to explain why I support the 731 system and why I will be voting no on the referendum question. There's a long history that goes into why we are here today, and I'm hoping or assuming that most of you at least have some familiarity with the issue as far as why we're having to choose between this 10-1 system and 731 system. For 60 years, we operated under a 731 system where we had 7 districts and 3 at-large members and 1 mayor. And the school board was 7 districts and 4 at-large members. So that was challenged by a federal lawsuit. The federal lawsuit was ruled that the system that we were operating under was against federal law and the Federal Voting Rights Act, and a judge imposed the 10-1 system on us for the last 2 elections. I guess there was 1 special election, so really 3 elections. In the meantime, the reason for that ruling, basically making it against the Federal Voting Rights Act, was that we had citywide voting. So regardless of where you lived in the district, everybody in the city got to vote. So if you lived in Kempsville, people in Pungo got to vote for your representative, and that was found to be against the Federal Voting Rights Act. Well, in 2022, the state law was changed to outlaw that we could no longer have, the legislature passed it, and that we could no longer have citywide voting in our local elections. In the meantime, so we went to this 10-1 system. A judge hired a special master to develop these 10 districts, and that's what we're living under. That's what we've had for the last 2 elections. In the meantime, there was another lawsuit brought challenging, saying that these elections were illegal because it was against our city charter, and a state judge has ruled that the 2 elections that were held illegally, but he stayed any remedy to those elections until after the referendum. So based upon how we voted on the referendum is how the state judge will determine what we do going forward. There's a lot more to it, and hopefully we can get into it a little while longer.
Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Benita Richardson. I am, as I always say, from the booming metropolis of Emporia, Virginia. Anybody ever been to Emporia, Virginia? It's not that booming. I've never gotten tickets there. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm here because I support the Vote Yes on 10-1 coalition that I believe will help our neighbors, our veterans, and our community at large, because it gives control to local representatives and it gives us a more accountable government. We've had the opportunity to see how 10-1 works over the past 2 elections, and it does. We have 10 districts with 10 representatives that represent and actually live in those districts that they represent, and then 1 at-large person who is our mayor. I do agree with Stacy. Oh, and if you see me swinging at him, we're not fighting up here. There's a mosquito that keeps landing on his head. And so we're trying to get rid of that. Yes, there was a lawsuit that stated, that addressed not the legality of the 10-1 system, but it actually talked about changing our charter. And so yes, our charter was not changed, but that is just a process that we go through by sending this information up to the General Assembly, and then both houses, the House and the State Senate, will vote on it, and then it has to be ratified by our governor. And the last time it went up, our governor did not push it through because he said he was waiting to see about some legislation that was coming through. But the 731 plan really drags us back into those 60 or 57 years of policies where our voices were not counted, but the money was counted. The money was what was being used to control the way that our council worked and the way that benefits and taxes were being passed out. So it's pay-to-play politics, plain and simple, and it does not benefit the average person here. So tonight, remember 10-1 means accountable fairness and local control, and 7-1 means backroom deals and developer dominance. And we're not here for that because we want to control our own tax dollars. Thank you.
Excellent. Good job for both of you. Okay, so you have the microphone, Teresa Chadwick. If you will stand where you are and just read the questions.
And for those of
You
you,
have to turn it on.
oh yeah, it'd be nice if I did that.
Yeah.
And for those
Is it on?
And for those of you,
But, yeah.
For those of you who do not know me, my name is Teresa Chowick, and I am the vice chair of the Virginia Beach Tea Party. So, with that said, let the games begin. First question for both of you. Do you believe that the 10-1 system was done legally in 2022?
the 10-1 system was established by a federal judge as being the constitutional way to vote. We use the very same type of voting system when we vote for our governors, when we vote for our congressmen. We don't get to say who the congressman in North Carolina, who that's going to be, because we don't live there. So I believe that the 10-1 system is fair, accountable, and legal, yes.
Hey, I don't believe that the 10-1 system was legally done. I believe that a state judge has ruled that it was illegal. The charter has not been changed. And to respectfully correct a couple of things that were said. One is the governor did not veto the latest in the latest session. That was done 2 sessions ago when the House and the Senate passed the resolution. It went to the governor and it was vetoed. Last year, it never made it to the governor's desk. There was no resolution given to the governor. I don't believe that it was done legally. I believe that we had a state judge that has said that until the charter is changed, that any further elections that violate the city charter will also be held illegally.
Okay, next question for both of you. 10-1 is against the city charter, correct? How difficult is it to change the charter? Why hasn't the charter been changed in the last 2 years?
Thank you. The reason the charter has not been changed is because the city council has not asked for the change to be made in the last session. And in order to change the charter, it takes 2/3 majority from the state legislature delegation to do that. They did not meet that threshold. So we believe that the entire city, or the entire state, is waiting for this referendum. And the same people that are for the 10-1, that they were against even having the referendum. They want to say that 10-1 gives you a greater voice, but they didn't want to even hear your voice. They didn't want to even have a referendum. Well, the city council was, on a 7-4 vote, voted to have this referendum. It went to a circuit court judge who approved the question, and we're going to see what the people had to say on this issue.
So in the previous session, when City Council voted on the changing of the charter, 9 of the 10 council people voted to change that charter. The change also came with the decennial redistricting, and when that happens, you don't automatically you don't focus as much on the charter change, but they look at the population as it is at that time and make the adjustments necessary. And so, along with Judge Jackson's ruling, the decennial redistricting occurred. And so Judge Jackson stated that a referendum wouldn't be necessary because the 10-1 system would be the system until the next decennial redistricting occurred.
Okay, Councilman Cummings, this next question's for you. Prior to the 10-1 system, many areas in Virginia Beach did not have a representative from their neighborhood, end of town, that understood the specific needs of that area. How will another 731 guarantee citizens will have representation from their end of town?
The former 731 system had 7 districts. In order to represent that district, you had to live in that district. So there was a 731 where everybody that represented the district had to live in that district. The change, and the big change with this, is that because of the law change in the legislature, we do not have citywide voting. So we would have, the modified 731 would have 7 districts, Each representative would have to live in that district, and only the people that live in that district will get to vote for their representative. And then there would be 3 at large, and everybody citywide would be able to vote for that. The judge's ruling on the 10-1 was ruled moot, meaning that because of the law change from the state legislature, that ruling no longer has any effect. Moot means it's like it never happened.
Judge Jackson's ruling actually is not mute. In talking with the city council and meeting with the city attorney, and then having subsequent additional conversations via Zoom, Judge Jackson vacated his ruling because the leaders of the city at that time stated that they would comply with the 10-1 voting system. So in vacating his judgment, that is actually how the state judge was able to put his ruling in place. But to talk about representation, I don't come to this area very often, so I don't know if you flood or what issues you may have, because I don't get to come down here. But if you had a representative who lived in your area, then they would know that this area flooded and that you needed some help, and so I'm moving because I got 10 seconds. So representation helps in that way.
Yeah, I've already got it. Okay. Next question. How does the document Virginia Beach Vision 2040 play in either voting system, and is it a rationale behind one or the other?
Okay, I just want to respond to the fact that having somebody live in your district that understands your district. This district where we're sitting here today is represented by Ms. Barbara Henley, and I would venture to say there's not a human alive that knows more about this district than Barbara Henley. And she's a great representative for this, and she's the epitome of why the 10-1 does not work. She fights every day for this district, but because of the 10-1 system and because of the siloing of this other council members, at times she can't even get a second to call for a vote because of the 10-1 system. Under a 7-3-1 system, we would have more representation. You would have 3 at-large people that could actually pull for this district. So to answer your question, the 2040 will be an advisory document that city council and future city councils will use to make their decisions on land use.
So I've had the opportunity to meet Ms. Henley, but I've never seen her in District 4 where I live. So I'm not sure if she knows what happens there, but yes, I am sure she absolutely understands the needs and challenges and wants of the people in her district. And that is why 10-1 works, because each representative is representing a district. The 44,000 people that live in their district, not the 480,000 people who live in the whole city. As far as the Vision 2024, that is something that will continue to help our city grow and bloom. And with representation and accountable representation, we will be able to know who to go to get our tax funds back in our hands as into development, rather than being in developers' hands.
Okay. Okay, next question. City council and school board elections are nonpartisan. So how did this issue become partisan? So
I don't believe the issue is partisan. I think it's a people issue. It's about each of us knowing who to hold accountable. It's about being fair. It's about the power of our votes and not having votes that are diluted. So in my opinion, as far as I know, it's not a partisan issue, but it is a people issue.
Okay. As far as accountability goes, there are 11 people on school board, there are 11 people on city council. If you get to vote for 5, that's a lot more accountability than if you get to vote for 2. And the fact that Mrs. Henley may not know things about District 4, again, just goes to my point on the 10-1 system. She's focused on District 2 issues, not District 4 issues. There's nobody looking after the entire city. With a 731, you would have 3 at-large members who are accountable to everyone in the city, plus you still have your representative in your district that you voted for that will handle your issues. Right now, if you have an issue and your representative is not responsive, you have nobody to go to. You have no alternative. You have no other voice. With a 731, you would have 4 people looking after your interests, including, and then the mayor would also be able, so you would have 5 people looking after your interests instead of the 1 that you have now.
So indeed, you're saying you do have multiple people to go to. You can go to your district person and to the mayor if you're having an issue. Did I understand that to be what you were saying?
Well, I can expand on it. Right now, if you have an issue and your district person is not responding to your issue, good luck getting the mayor to take a position against the person living in that, or representing that district. You really have no other voice.
Thank you. I wanted to go back to that because then that further supports the fact that 3 at-large people would not be representative of what you need. If we can't go to the mayor and have him speak on behalf, then why have 3 other people go who will not speak on your behalf? But I want to talk about the difference in the 2. And so I look at it like this is your vote. And so in the 10-1 system, this is the power of your vote. But in the other system, the power of your vote is broken into pieces because you're going against everyone else in the city who is voting. And so now my power is not as strong as it used to be because it's diluted, because I'm voting for 3 at-large people, a mayor, against everyone else in the city, as well as the people in my area.
Okay. Approximately 83% of the money donated to the Every Vote Counts Committee is from real estate and retail. What is the return on investment expected to be?
That's a great question. It's not just developers, not just hotel people, not just the restauranters, it's all the business community is supporting the 731. The fact of the matter is that the people that are supporting the 10-1 issue are also supporting collective bargaining. If we end up with a 10-1 system, it's divide and conquer. If we have 10 districts, we came within 1 abstention of having collective bargaining, of having unionized city employees. If we go to a 10-1, it's just a matter of time before we have unionized city employees. And as last I know, the Tea Party stands for tax enough already. Well, if you think you're being taxed enough right now, wait until we have unionized employees, and you're going to see taxes go through the roof, just like they are in New Jersey, New York, just like they have a $300 million deficit in Fairfax County alone. Collective bargaining is at the root of this issue. When you talk about it being a partisan issue, it's collective bargaining. The business community is against collective bargaining. We can't afford it. We cannot afford it, and when we go to collective bargaining, then we're going to lose our right to work state status, and that's going to be bad for the city and for all the people in Virginia.
Okay, you took an extra minute on that, so you can have an extra minute.
Thank you.
I'm going by our timer.
Yeah.
How many?
10 seconds.
It was 10 seconds over. Okay, you have a little extra time. I thought you said it was a minute. So I'm just being fair.
Thank you so much. So when I look at the Every Vote Counts VB, which is a little, play on words because the overall Every Vote Counts program has been around for a long time, I hear the song, money, 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 ringing in my head because I see recycled tax dollars funding that campaign. The tax dollars that have been given to business owners to help them grow their business, build new towers and resorts and hotels, and even fund campaigns. I did see, on up there that you had made a substantial donation to that group as well. And so the 10-1 coalition is really a grassroots issue. It's the people over the money. Does that 15 include my extra 10 or, okay. What I see are developers, as Stacy said, business owners starting, the Every Vote Counts VB, and everyday people on the 10-1 side.
I believe I get 30 seconds.
Yep, did she call you out by
Yes, she
name?
did.
Then yes, you can.
Okay, as far as me funding, my funding of Every Vote Counts VB is my personal money that I put into this campaign because I believe in it. I did not get $100,000 from Dominion Energy or $70,000 from Dominion Energy. When you talk about tax dollars funding this, okay, on the same day, Aaron Rouse, Kelly Fowler, $100,000, $70,000 to help fund this campaign for the 10-1.
And although neither of them are a part of Vote Yes on 10-1 coalition referendum, Dominion didn't give me anything. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Councilman Cummings, I think this is going to pertain to you. You would know this. Bobby Dyer was the deciding vote to put the question on the ballot, and he voted no. Why?
It's not true. He wasn't the deciding vote. It was a 7-4 vote, and he voted for it. So that's all there is to that question.
Okay. Did you want to respond?
Sure I will, because he did vote for the 10-1 system when 9 of the 10 council people voted to send it up to the General Assembly for ratification. So I believe that that is a good question. What is funding that desire or the change in his position from being for 10-1 and then changing his mind and being against it?
The other question, how do we trust either party to truly represent the people?
I'm not sure what you mean when you say any
That's
party.
what somebody wrote.
Okay.
So I'm just putting up the card. So.
I will pass that over to Stacy.
That's great. At City Council, all of our meetings are live streamed. I encourage you to watch the live stream, and I encourage you to see what the people in City Council are fighting for. On every single time the issue came up on the budget about taxes and about spending, I was arguing for the people. I was arguing to reduce the taxes and to reduce our spending. And at the end of the day, I am now working directly with the city manager and with the budget director to find ways to reduce our spending so that we can reduce our tax burden on the homeowners of Virginia Beach. So people can talk and people can say words and people can take popularist positions, but I encourage you to watch these city council meetings and watch what the people are doing, watch what people are saying, and watch what they're fighting for. Because it's open, it's on the record, I stand by my record, and there are people on council that are going to have to stand on their record. So.
I definitely agree with Stacy in watching the live stream. One that I found very interesting in particular was during the discussion, the informal discussion with City Council as they discussed not sending the 10-1 system up for the charter change this year. The city attorney was very clear that the only thing that he could defend was the 10-1 system, which is what he defended against the case that came before the state judge. So definitely watch and listen to that discussion, because he kept asking them, what is it you would like for me to defend? Because currently, the only thing that I can defend is the 10-1 system.
Okay. And then the question was for Councilman Cummings, when will you all stop raising on real estate taxes? Yeah.
Good question.
That's my favorite question.
Great. And Again, I encourage you to watch our sessions as council. I encourage you to watch our retreats, and I encourage you to see the positions that people take. I'm the only one that 100% of the time I argued against every tax increase. I argued for a reduction in our tax rate. I argued against the boat tax. I argued against the restaurant tax. And again, I ask you to watch these, listen to what people are saying. The fact of the matter is that the same people that want the 10-1, that want collective bargaining, that did not want to have a referendum, are also for, we need more money in the city. So watch, listen to what people are saying. You need to, if you're on a 10-1, you need to really think about which side of this position you're on, because 10-1 is going to lead to collective bargaining, it's going to lead to more taxes, and there's no way in the world that with a 10-1 system and collective bargaining that you're going to see any kind of reduction ever.
I'd like to say with the 10-1 system, what you will get is the opportunity to know who to go to share your concerns with, who you can hold accountable for making sure that what it is you want, and if that is lower taxes, you know who to go to. And the great thing about elections is their terms. And so if you don't like how someone is representing you, you get the opportunity to vote them out in 4 years. So representative government is great.
As a business owner in the city, I disagree with the statement that the business community supports 731. Is it only the businesses that make campaign donations that matter in this city?
I feel that's a great question.
That sounds like a Tea Party question to me. Nope. I'm just saying.
That's great. When I say the business, if you can't have it both ways. You can't say that these businesses are donating into this cause and then say that they're not. You know, the majority, the business community as a whole, developers, hotel workers, hotel owners, the restaurant people, the construction workers, the economic engine that drives this city are behind the 731. Is that to say that every mom and pop business in the city is behind it? No, that's not it. I'm just saying that people, they see the consequences of a 10-1 system. They see collective bargaining coming, they see the unionization of our city employees, and they see the ever-increasing tax burden on the people by having this 10-1 system, by going to collective bargaining. It's inevitable. We were one abstention away under a 10-1 system from having collective bargaining.
I don't believe that collective bargaining is on the ballot currently. So as we continue to talk about the 10-1, I won't address that. But we are talking about the businesses owned by the oceanfront developers, by the tailors, do it your home center, yes. Owners that are donating lots and lots of money to this. And I am always one who will look to see where the money is coming from and then try to understand why the big dollars are supporting one system over the other, and it's about control in my opinion.
And then it did come up, so I'm going to ask this question. It's been talked about. Why not put collective bargaining on the ballot as a referendum?
Because right now on city council, they don't have the votes. On council, we are opposed, we have a majority of the people on council are opposed to collective bargaining. And in order to get anything on the ballot, or on a referendum, you would have to have 6 people to vote for the question. Right now, there are not 6 votes to put it on the ballot, and it won't be on the ballot again next year. So that's why.
Well, what will be on the ballot next year will be city council members. And so if you are for collective bargaining, it is the perfect opportunity for you to support a candidate in your district that will represent your interest if collective bargaining is an interest for you.
It takes too much money to run a citywide election for at-large candidates, so only those who get huge donations from the rich developers and others will win? Won't they only be accountable to those rich developers and resort area folks?
That's a great question. And the last time that we had at-large voting, we had at-large candidates, the winners were Aaron Rouse, John Moss, Rosemary Wilson. They could not be three more diametrically opposed humans in the city of Virginia Beach than those three. Money, certainly John Moss ran on a campaign, not saying he would not take money, did not raise money. He won an at-large position. Aaron Rouse is not necessarily supported by the business community. He won an at-large position, and Rosemary Wilson won hers. So this idea that money buys elections and will buy these at-large is not proven by history. It's a fear that that's not justified. It just has not happened in the city historically.
So, what I thought about was, candidates who got into office changed their minds and then stated that they changed their minds because of the information they got in the back rooms, that we as the people were not available, or it was not available to us to know all the backroom dealings. In my opinion, that is money controlling things. And so those big donations come with a price, and it's a pay-to-play price quite often. No one gives you $100,000 and expects nothing in return, ever. That's just not the American way.
Okay. Due to the exponential population growth of Virginia Beach since 1960, how can 11 people properly represent a city of Virginia, almost 500,000 people, over 497 square miles, if they don't live anywhere near you?
Great question. I'll first comment on the what was said about follow the money and $100,000 being donated. $100,000 donated to Aaron Rouse, who's not even running this year for a position, to be used for this referendum question. $70,000 to Kelly Fowler. When you say that she's not involved with the movement, well, the signs out on the street say this sign was paid for by Friends of Kelly Fowler. So that's just an inaccurate saying. And to answer the question about how can 11 people rule over a city, that's a whole other question. Would we be better off with more people? Or, I don't know, if you have 11 of the right people, the job can be done. So, but that's not the issue. We can't, that's a long way down the road.
So may I have my 30 seconds rebuttal to clarify my statement? My statement was that Aaron Rouse and Kelly Fowler were not members of the Vote Yes on 10-1 referendum coalition. I am not, I have not spoken to them about 10-1 that I can think of, and I'm not aware of monies that they have received to promote this issue. And I'm not sure if the money that they received was only for 10-1. But what I can tell you is that they are not members of the Vote Yes on 10-1 coalition, which I'm here representing. And then the question that was asked was, how can 11 people manage the city? And both systems have 11 people trying to manage. But it's easier when you have a smaller area to manage, and that's why I believe the 10-1 system is the better system to help manage our city in small chunks, but together as one.
All right. We are getting numerous data centers. Is that why the developers want 731?
Well, I should get my extra time.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, to say that Aaron Rouse and Kelly Fowler are not involved in this 10-1 movement is laughable. They are the face of the movement. They've been working hard to make it happen. To their credit, I'm not disparaging them. They're working for what they believe in. I'm just saying they are part of the movement. Now, I answered the question about the data center. Well, the data centers really is not a boom for the developers. The data centers are going to be a boom for the electric company. We need electric power to power those things. And where's that power coming from? Dominion Energy, who's backing this 10-1 movement.
So if anyone with a computer can check to find out what group Senator Rouse and Kelly Fowler are a part of, that would be greatly appreciated. That way we can clarify, because I have the list of donors and I've seen the list of our supporters, and they are not a part of that list that I've seen.
Now, for the data centers, is that, no, you're gonna address that?
I have no statement on the data centers coming.
Excellent.
I was told by a Republican council person that he voted for the tax increase because, quote, "You should see what the Democrats are doing. When will council act in favor of the people and not their party?"
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to join council just yet, so I don't have an opinion on that.
Well, if we had a 7-3-1 system, you would have 5 people that are accountable to the entire city, that would have to answer to the entire city. Under this 10-1 system, you have 10 people that are accountable only to the people in their district. So if you want a more accountable city council, 7-3-1 gets us a lot closer than where we are today.
I can comment on that. So, I think that we're saying that, or that we're discussing it like, anytime someone is elected, and then there was a party question earlier, whether Republican, Tea Party, Libertarian, Democrat, Independent, once you're in an elected position, you're actually supposed to represent the people in your area. 10-1 gives us the opportunity to hold a direct person accountable for what is happening in our district, and that person that's asking for assistance is not lost in the muck of being passed around from one person to another to try to get the help they need.
Is this questions for Councilman Cummings? Rebuttal? No, you ready?
In all due respect, I don't even understand the logic of that a 10-1 system would give you somebody more accountable. Under 7-3-1, you still have the one person from your district that is accountable to you, but you also have 3 at-large people that are accountable for you. So it's much more representation, not less representation. And to keep saying that you don't have a representative under 7-3-1 is just a false statement. You do have a direct one that's directly voted for by those people in that district, and on top of that, you still have 3 other people working for the entire city that are working for you on a daily basis.
So that brought to mind one of the signs that you all have up that says taxation without representation, which to me the 7-3-1 system is actually taxation with poor representation, because you don't get the opportunity to have someone who's standing in for you. In the 7-3-1 system, yes, there may be 3 people at large who live in one district along with the district representative, so we actually now have 4 people in one district, plus the mayor could also live in that district. So we went from having 1 person represent this area to 5 people representing this area when we only have 1 over here speaking for District 8.
Again, that's a silly argument, because again, history does not prove that out. The last time we had at-large elections, we had John Moss, Aaron Rouse, and Rosemary Wilson. 3 different districts, 3 very different people. For For that to happen, for all 5 people to come from one district, that means the other 6 districts would have to get together and vote for those 5 people, and who's going to do that? I mean, there's nobody that's logically going to say, oh yeah, I want all my at-large people to live down at the oceanfront. That's not the way it works. They will vote for the best people, and you will have a diversity just like we've had in the past.
So, I won't call any of your arguments silly, but what I will say is, this has happened before in this wonderful city where more than 3 representatives were living in one district. And it will happen again in that system. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Okay, next one. The Weldon Cooper study reflected what the citizens wanted. 81% of citizens want 10-1. How could you come in and go against what the citizens have already said they wanted? Do the citizens think that, do you think that the citizens don't know their own minds?
I think the question answers itself, that if in fact 81% of the people or 83% of the people, and if that was a valid survey, then the referendum's going to prove that out. Then 83% of the people are going to vote yes. We don't believe that's the case. We believe that that it was a bad survey. We don't put any stock in that survey. It was a bad survey. 83% of the people in Virginia Beach don't agree about anything, much less on how to vote on a voting system that they had never voted on before. No one had ever voted on a 10-1 system before that system was done, so they didn't even know what they were voting for or what they were answering when they answered the survey question.
It sounds, there's this thing called statistical deviations, standard deviations that you use in statistics that show that even with a small sample size, what the majority of the people would vote for. And just as the people who answered the survey, 81% of them said they wanted and understood the 10-1 system. We had a referendum in 1994 where the majority of the citizens voted for a different voting system, and when it was taken up to the General Assembly, they said they don't know what they're talking about. So let me come back down there and make a new referendum, and let me change the language to make it confusing so they don't know how to answer. So, I'm sorry?
No, shh, keep going.
So, you know what you want. The people know what they want. They know what they like, and they said it. And I don't know how many times we'll have to continue to say it to make some people understand.
How does a city council member who is a defendant in the federal case ethically spend thousands of dollars to overturn a case made against a city by a citizen?
I'm lost on the question. Can you read that again? Or can somebody explain it to me?
So there's a lawsuit out there now that city council is a part of,
Yeah.
that the city is being sued, and city council are the defendants in that lawsuit. Now, once again, our city attorney has said all he can defend is the 10-1 system, but there are members of council who, regardless of what the people say, have decided that they will push against the legal and ethical voting system, the constitutional voting system that the federal judge set forth.
Well, first of all, the city attorney in every meeting I've been in where we've been discussing that has said, give me direction and I will defend what city council tells me to defend. When up until the branch case was decided in state court, the city attorney was defending 10-1 because the city was being sued under the branch case about the violation of the city charter. So the city attorney's been having to defend both sides of this issue over the years, but the city attorney's never said that he cannot defend anything but a 10-1 system. That's never been said in any meeting that I've ever been in, and it hasn't been said this year by the city attorney.
I will find that clip from the informal session and email it to you after this. But that was his statement, that the only thing he could defend was the 10-1 system. And in the branch case, the case was not so much about the merits of 10-1 versus 7-3-1, but it was about the legality of the system based on the fact that it was never adjusted in the charter.
Okay. Did either the federal judge or the circuit court judge issue a gag order on the 10-1 pending litigation? And Councilman Cummings, are you a party to both cases?
The Hollowell case that's been reinstituted has named all the members of City Council, but there is no gag order, and all the members of City Council are free to espouse any view that they want to regarding this issue. I've been very vocal in my support of 731 through my campaign, and up until now, and I will be in the future. I think it's the best system, I think it's the right way, and I do believe it's the will of the citizens. I have said, and the other members of council that voted, this other 7 members, we've all taken a pledge that whatever the referendum calls for, whatever the people want, we'll support. I just want to do the will of the people. I don't believe the will of the people was bared out in this Weldon Cooper study. I don't believe that 83% of the people said that they want a 10-1 system that they